Today we're going to talk to you about the importance of breathing with kettlebell training. Now the techniques we're going to talk about are specific to kettlebell training. In other words, you do need them when you're doing your kettlebell training, but they also apply to other athletic endeavors and to traditional lifting as well. So don't forget them when you go out of the gym floor and when you're doing your other things. The key thing we're going to talk about here is how you can use your breath to protect your body and to magnify your force so you can actually do more. So the first technique we're going to talk about here is what we call using tension. So we're going to try to teach you how to create tension through your full body to make yourself as strong as a pillar, so you can protect yourself and actually use your entire body for movement. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, the first thing you have to really start to get, if to breathe properly, is you have to really feel your connection to the floor. You have to feel your feet and your floor and the floor get connected. Now we do that by using the muscles in our body. So, as you can see, all of us have on either flat-soled shoes or bare feet. When you wear thick-soled shoes, you create a big space between your feet and the floor, and it makes it harder to feel the floor. It's not impossible, but it is harder to do. So our recommendation is when you're doing your kettlebell training, when you're doing anything that requires a lot of strength, to wear flatter shoes. Running shoes are meant for running. They're meant to take the impact of a step on a run. They're not meant for stability. What we're dealing with now is stability and grounding. Okay, so we're going to feel our feet on the floor. So I want you guys to feel the balls of your feet on the floor as you move slightly forward a little bit. I want you to feel the side of your feet on the floor as you move slightly side to side. I want you to feel the heels of your feet on the floor as you rock back. Beautiful. Now I want you to use the muscles in your legs and flex the muscles in your legs. Flex them and push everything into the floor and feel that firmness, that stability. Now this is the stance that athletes use when they're about to move. This is the stance that martial artists use when they're about to throw a punch or when they're trying to get stable to take a blow. This is what we call being grounded. So being grounded is partially feeling connected to the floor. The other part of it is using the muscles in your legs to actively connect yourself to the floor. Okay, release and shake that out. I want you guys to practice that. As you practice that movement, you will find that you can do more. If you were doing a curl, for example, and you were to ground yourself in the floor, you would find you'd be able to curl more weight. Whether it's a bench press, whether it's a kettlebell swing, whether it's a punch. The more grounded you are, the more force you can create, the safer your core and your body is. Good, so now we're grounded. The next thing we got to do is understand now, how do we take that grounded connection from our legs and transfer it up into the rest of our body so we can connect and be as strong as a pillar. I want you to imagine you're walking across the street and you turn to the side and you realize you're about to get hit by a car. What would you do? Besides run, of course. If you didn't have time to run, your body with protection mechanism would be to clench up and get really tight. So we're going to clench up and get really tight as if somebody was about to hit us. So we're going to start with our feet. Our feet are firmly grounded on the floor. We're going to flex and ground our legs. We've done that already. Now I want you to take from your upper body up, and I want you to clench up everything as if you're about to get hit. I want you to feel your core get really tight. I want you to feel your back get really tight, your chest, your arms, your neck, everything get really tight, as solid as can be. And relax. Now the question you want you to ask yourself is, was that easy? Well, I already know the answer. No, it's not. To flex every muscle in your body is not easy. As we go on in our training, as we go on in our lessons, I will show you how you can use that principle to create more strength, to create more support and stability so you can actually do more weight. Kettlebells is about power. It's about strength, and to use it successfully, you need to use more weight. I'm not going to give you guys a number because that'll just throw you off right now. So fine, now we understand how to ground. We understand how to create tension through our whole body. Kettlebells is also about momentum. So when you're moving, you can't always move with tension. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you're going to have to move and you're going to have to time that tension so it comes when you need it. The best example I can give you is, I can give you two good examples. Think of a boxer who throws a punch. Every time they throw the punch, they exhale. That exhale is them creating tension at the right moment. So when that punch connects, they've got the maximum transfer of force. Think of tennis. We all watch tennis. We've all seen a highlight of tennis. Have you ever heard how much noise these ladies are making when they're hitting the tennis ball? Why is that? Well, that's them using their body's mechanism to create force to accentuate what they're doing. We're going to teach this principle by using our body's natural mechanism to create force. Now, just like I mentioned in those two examples before, when our body makes a grunting sound or a guttural sound, that is our body's way of using tension and timing the tension to match the force that is needed for what it's doing. We can do this automatically when we do things like throw a punch or hit a tennis racket, hit a tennis ball, or we can consciously go and get this sound and use it to our advantage. So here's how we do it. My friends are going to join me for this one. This is how you know if it's working. Put your hands on your tummy and then make a guttural sound. As you make that sound, you should feel your abdominals tighten and flex. That sound, that movement is your body's way of creating enough force and pressure in its core to support itself and create strength. How would we use that for a movement? As we get into our different movements, let's try. We're going to try one where we inhale down, and as we come up, we're going to tighten. That's kind of how we're going to move when we get into our kettlebell movements. So we're going to do 5 of those together for you guys. You guys ready? All right, so we're going to go down. Inhale to come down. Beautiful. These are the things that you want to practice to teach your body how to move and how to use the breath properly to successfully protect yourself and accentuate the forces that your body naturally wants to create. So as we're using our breath, obviously breathing is a combination of an inhale and an exhale, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but the key thing you got to keep in mind is as you exhale, if you let too much air out, you're not really going to get the maximum effect of increasing the strength inside your core. So the difference is this: if I go as opposed to, you can feel it. Try it in your tummy. Put your hands on your tummy. Take an inhale and exhale for force with an open mouth. Now I want you to exhale for force. Put your tongue against the top of your teeth and let as little air out as you can. You're just going to squeak a little bit out. The difference is the less air you let out, the smaller the hole in the balloon that is your tummy, the more pressure you keep in there, and the stronger and tighter it can be. Now that we understand how to create that tension so we're still as a rock, how can we use that to move, right? Right now we feel so tight we feel like we can't move. But you can move. You just got to try to hold that tension and understand what is the structure of what you want to do. So what the movement we're going to learn how to move with tension on is a squat. So I'm going to ask Candace to turn to the side. David's going to face forward. So first thing we're going to do is ground our heels into the floor. Whenever you're squatting really slow and you don't have any weight on your body or on your back, you'll find it's easier if your hands are out in front just for a counterbalance. So our hands are going to be out in front for a counterbalance. And now we're all going to tighten up and get our cores nice and tight. We're doing our full body tension. So we're flexing to our legs, we're flexing to our core, we're braced like somebody's going to hit us. Now we're going to take an inhale and squeeze that air out as we slowly lower down into our movement abdomen, staying nice and tight. So get to the bottom. Get tight again. Squeeze the core, the back, the legs. Good. Inhale. Squeeze the air out as we come back up again, nice and tight all the way. Good. Relax.